Can a $40 meat grinder attachment for your KitchenAid mixer really compete with a much more expensive standalone model? That's what we're going to find out today on the Homestead. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Homestead. This is Kevin with Living Traditions Homestead. And today I'm going to show you this new meat grinder that we started using here on the Homestead. As you know from some of my previous videos, it's deer season here in Missouri, and to me that's a big deal. Hopefully it means that we're going to fill up one of our freezers up with venison. I've already gotten 2 deer this season, so I'm very excited about that, but I'm hoping to get out and get a lot more. So we used to have an expensive standalone meat grinder that was really nice and it did a great job, but it broke. And the bad part about that is we found out afterwards replacement parts weren't available for it. So when it broke, we're just kind of out of luck and we can't use it anymore. So I didn't realize that until I got my first deer this year and remembered that we no longer had that meat grinder, but it occurred to me that a couple years ago I had purchased this meat grinder attachment for the KitchenAid mixer at a thrift store. I think I paid $7 for it. And I've had it out in the barn and I've always just kind of left it out there as a backup and didn't really ever give it a second thought until now this year when I needed it. So we brought it in, figured out how to use it, and I have to say I've been very impressed with the way that it works. I think it works every bit as good as the expensive one that we had before. And today I'm going to show you how to set it up, how to use it, and a few of the things that I've kind of figured out about it. So the first thing that I thought was going to be kind of a downside to it is the fact that it's made out of plastic. You know, the nicer, more expensive one that we had was all metal and really well built. But I have to say, after using this now to grind about 50 pounds of meat, this has not been a problem having it be plastic. In fact, I mean, it makes it really easy to clean up, and it just doesn't. The parts that are plastic don't seem to matter that they're plastic. So the main part here is plastic, and then you've got your I don't know what this is called, spindle that goes on the inside that helps pull the meat through. That part is plastic as well, but it is on a metal shaft, so that's nice and strong. It comes with 2 different size blades, a small blade and a bigger blade. And then this is the part that actually cuts the meat as it comes through. So I'm going to show you how to put this thing together. The first thing you do is just put the spindle inside, and then you're going to put your little blade on there, and then whatever size grind that you want to do first is what you're going to put on. So I like to grind them twice. What I like to do is put the bigger one on here for the first time. We'll run all the meat through on that one on the more coarse setting, and then we'll switch to the smaller blade and run it through a second time. It just seems to end up as a better ground meat. Even on the more expensive grinder, we did that the same way. So then all you're going to do is hand tighten this piece on here. Some of the reviews that I've read online for this KitchenAid grinder have said that people will find metal shavings in their meat after they're done, and I would tend to believe that in most cases that's because people are over tightening this ring right here. It does come with this tool which is used for this, but if you read the actual instructions, which most people probably don't, it says to actually only use this to take this off at the end. Sometimes after you've ground a lot of meat, this will tighten up on its own and be hard to get off, and this tool will help you be able to get that off. But you're not supposed to use it at first to tighten this on. You're supposed to just hand tighten this and not too much. So that's all there is to putting it together. If you haven't used attachments on your KitchenAid before, you'll see that this just comes off here, and you can set that off to the side. And then this goes on, and you just tighten it into place. Now you can just turn your mixer on and make sure that you can see the blade. You can see the blade spinning around in there, and you'll know that it's all set. It also comes with this little, I don't know, it looks like a little baseball bat, I guess. But that's used for pushing the meat down into the grinder. So I'm going to go get some of the venison that we're going to grind today, and we'll start running it through and we'll see exactly how it works. Okay, so I've got my bowl of venison. Now one thing I wanted to talk to you about a little bit about is when you cut up your meat to run through the grinder, you want to make sure that you cut it into, kind of long strips. That will help as you put it through to actually have it pull itself through and out of the grinder. Again, that's true of any meat grinder in general. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that you'll notice that on the box, this isn't actually called a meat grinder. It's called a food grinder. You can actually use this for quite a few other things. You can run like tomatoes and peppers and things through to make like a salsa. The book that comes with it, which wasn't with this one when I bought it, but I found it online for free, actually has recipes for making quite a few different things with this attachment. So if that's of interest to you, if you're not into grinding meat, you can use it for a lot of other things as well. And I'll put a link to this one down below so that you guys can check it out on Amazon and get more information. So again, we're going to start running the meat through now. I have the coarse blade in there, and we're going to run it on number 4 on your mixer. That's what they recommend, is to put it on speed 4. And you'll see it starts to pull it through nicely. And if you need to, use this. Alright, so as you can see, it's doing a great job. I'm going to go ahead and grind the rest of this bowl, and then we're going to switch over to the fine blade and we'll run it through again. I'll be back with you in just a few minutes. Alright, so I have the first, this bowl ground up. You can see that it made enough to fill up these 2 bowls. Now we're going to switch the blade over to the coarse, or to the fine blade, and then we'll run this through again on the fine settings. So again, the way you do that is you use this tool to loosen that up. Take this off, and then you need to take this fine, or this coarse blade out. The way I found is easiest is just to turn it on for a second like that, and it just kind of comes right out. And then we'll switch over. If there's any pieces of meat in here, I always try to get those out so that you know the blade goes on nice. So we'll switch over to this fine blade here. Put this back on. And again, we're going to run it again on number 4, and we're going to just start putting this meat back through for the second time. Now, if you were going to make sausage, this is the time that you would add all of your seasoning to this coarse ground mixture, and then you would run it back through here with all of your seasoning already in the meat. That way, it would mix it, incorporate it really well. A couple things that I wanted to talk to you about as well. It's normal for your KitchenAid mixer to get pretty warm on top. It says that right in the KitchenAid manual, that it's pretty, that even if it gets so hot that you can't touch it, that is still considered normal. I did a video a few weeks ago showing how to completely take apart a KitchenAid mixer and re-grease everything inside. I'll leave a link to that over here so you guys can go and check that out. It's an easy process, something you can do yourself. You can order the grease that you need. You need food grade grease, but you can order that on Amazon and do this for about less than $10, and it'll greatly extend the life of your mixer. So I'm going to get going, run this back through for the second time now on that fine plate. Alright, so I've got it all ground up. You can see just how beautiful that turned out. Now you guys, I wanted to just talk tell you about a few more things before we leave. There's a couple downsides that I've experienced with this over the standalone unit. First of all, I don't feel like it grinds quite as fast. It does just as good of a job as far as the final product, but it doesn't grind quite as fast. So if you're doing a lot of meat, then I would recommend probably buying something a little better than this. But if you're like me and do it just basically during deer season and really not much else, then this is a great attachment. One other thing that I wanted to touch on that I find as a benefit, especially if you live like us in a smaller house that doesn't have a lot of storage, or you're just trying to downsize the amount of stuff that you have, is that this entire thing fits in this small box. It's not another gadget that you need to have around that you need to find a place to store. I highly recommend the KitchenAid mixer. It's a long-term investment. They work great. They do a great job. And then just adding this on is kind of a no-brainer for us now. I can't believe that I've had this sitting out in the barn for several years and never used it. And it does such a great job. So again, we'll leave a link to all of this down in the description below. If you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave those below. You guys, if you're new to our channel, I hope that you really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below so that you get notified of all of our new videos. And until next time, you guys, thanks for stopping by the homestead, and God bless.